Yeah. Hello everyone, and welcome to another webinar with Glific. Really happy to see you all here. We have some really interesting and amazing NGOs with us today, such as those who are doing some skill and education programs through football. Some are skilling students through choice learning. Those who are reducing school and college dropout rates and making the youth career ready. And I could probably, cover the entire duration talking about NGOs, but it would be a great moment for us if Glific helped you all in your mission and helped you grow your impact. It was really lovely seeing all the people who registered for the webinar. Let's dive in and see. So for today, we will go through some of the we'll go through Glyphic and look at how it works. We'll see how we can pilot some of the new features that we have come up with. And today we also have two special NGOs who will be talking about their story, Slam Out Loud and Leap Forward.
Hi everyone, my name is Jigyasa and I'm from Slam Out Loud. We're a non-profit and we believe that children, no matter where they come from, should find the opportunities to find their own voice and engage in creative expression. So we use art forms like theatre, storytelling, spoken word poetry and visual art to build what we call creative confidence skills in children, especially coming from disadvantaged communities. We run two programs. One is a fellowship in which artists work with children for a period of about 5 years, and every year a new artist comes and works with children. And the second thing that we do is we create assets and products like lesson plans, guidelines, and videos which other teachers, communities, or students can use to get access to art and artistic opportunities. Now, ever since COVID happened, what we've been doing is leveraging the power of arts, especially for well-being for children in this time, and low-tech platforms, including WhatsApp, IVRS, and Glyphic has been really, really useful again in the regard, because earlier when we piloted, we started out on the WhatsApp channel. Something which was important to us was safety of children, considering WhatsApp groups might not always be the safest medium, especially when we're working with children. And something else that was important was giving choice to a child. So in the way we were operating, we would send one art activity per day, but the child would actually have no choice in choosing what art form they want to work with. And again, the program is called Arts for All, which is our COVID response. So along with the team of Glific, we wanted to develop an EdTech low resource remote learning model, and which would help learners learn in an interactive manner while they're also having fun. And for the rest of it, I want to give it over to Gaurav. Will speak for the rest of it. I also realized I didn't switch on my camera. Hi everybody, this is my face. I'm a real person, and I will give it to Gaurav to explain how our association with Glific has been.
Thanks a lot, Jigyasa. I hope I'm audible. Let me know if I'm not. Okay,
Yes,
thanks. So Jigyasa spoke briefly about the program. I want to go a little bit into the background of what led to our tech transition. As Jigyasa told, we were running a fellowship program, which was very much in person. So that means an artist would go every week, every second week, with a group of children, conduct an art workshop. Once COVID hit, that became impossible. But our journey from there to Glific was not like a transition overnight. We did a couple of steps before we actually sought support from Glific, and I think that's where it made most sense. What we did first, the first thing that we did towards moving on a automated tech platform was to be able to create a curriculum that suits tech pieces. So initially, when our artists were taking workshops, they were taking very much in person 1.5 hour long workshop, but we realized it's difficult to retain a child's attention for 1.5 hours if you want to just speak over a text. So we created smaller activities that were a form of voice messages, small videos, not more than 2 to 3 minutes, that would give children a work of roughly 30 to 40 minutes to work with. So an activity could anywhere be like 300 characters long message that a child could read, or a poster that a child could refer to, and then on their own create. So we shifted all our curriculum, which was on poetry, theater, storytelling, to suit a tech platform, a part of which included WhatsApp. We went with WhatsApp first because on doing a preliminary survey, we realized that's a technology that most of the children are already having or using on their phone. So it's not something that we'll need to, uh, we didn't need to like focus on shifting user behavior. The second thing we did was to collect a small group of children and test how that curriculum was going to make it like most crisp, feasible. We didn't want to send like very long messages to children who are already struggling with being able to read something. So we tested different kind of lengths of the messages, different types, simplifying the language and all of that. And we tested with that with the small group in the first month, which was around April. And then we also thought it's a great opportunity to expand across geographies and see. So we invited people to subscribe to our program and receive curriculum, art-based learning curriculum for their children, which is just these activities. And we wanted to test what does it look like when we want to broadcast these messages across geographies. So on an everyday basis, we would, when people subscribed, there were roughly 1,000 subscribers, and the activities reached out to roughly 70,000 children. To be able to reach that scale, our communication needed to be very streamlined. We should be like incorporating feedback. So we also did like manual testing. We ran that program with our 1,000 subscribers for roughly 2 months and tested out what it looks like when we want to engage children from across geographies. And then the last thing that we tried doing was to understand which are the blind spots that are happening, because we are doing all of this manually. We have a very small team working on this. A part of it is interns who are just learning how to use this technology, and ourselves trying to understand rapidly what shifts can be made. So these are the shifts. These are the things we did before we brought in Glific, so as to for us also to have a hang of what curriculum and all could look like, and what delivery mechanisms look like. Especially to the fourth point, and I'm going to segue into then what were the challenges when we were doing this. The first challenge was we created multiple WhatsApp group, and there is one team member on that WhatsApp group trying to send an activity, monitoring, tracking each student interaction, which in itself was like a big deal. It's really difficult to keep a track of what each child is doing, even if it's a group of, let's say, 30 or 40 children, or 30 or 40 subscribers. Every time we would try to expand and add more subscriber or new children, it would put pressure on our existing resources, which are already like very scarce. Mapping journey for each user, and in this case, it's a child. For each child was very difficult. So we wouldn't know what this child sent like a week ago to us, because all of it would get lost in the barrage of messages that we would receive on the group. As Jigyasa shared, there was no autonomy for children to learn and grow at their own pace. So we would send the same fixed activity to all children across our subscriber base. Not the best way of engaging children. Some children just don't like doing poetry. Some of them might not be wanting to do visual arts because they lack those resources. So we couldn't give that autonomy because we were working on a very manual model. And we couldn't get like timely and appropriate feedback. So either users were not engaging themselves in giving feedback, or it was just difficult to collate it across all these spaces. When we got Glific, I think a lot of these challenges got taken care of. I think the first challenge that got taken care of was earlier when people would subscribe, they would have to fill a form, they will have to save our number on their phone, without which we couldn't send. And we would add them to our database. So someone would like literally manually sit and feed every subscriber's number on a phone, and then we were able to send them a message, which was a very hectic process. I think what we were able to do at Glific is to roll out a single link which a child could click on and they would automatically get subscribed when it came to automation. It could also record, and it could take children through a flow of certain questions, which would help us record their responses. So it will give us a background information. So it will ask name, what age do you, what age are you of, what language do you prefer. All these basic demographic questions we could capture in our first set of questions from the from the automated piece. The second thing that it did, which was really helpful, was saved us a lot of time and, and manual work by putting out a platform where children got uh, that autonomy to engage. So a child would uh, click on that link, they would be taken to a WhatsApp, and then it's all like a chatbot. All of us have interacted with chatbots, so they are pretty much doing most of the work unless we get stuck into a child asking like a very personalized query. In that case, team would address it. So it will take to select one for visual art, two for poetry, three for, let's say, storytelling, and a child could select that. Once they do, they would receive an activity of their choice. It also built in the loop, asking the child after a couple of after a certain point of time whether they like the activity or not, or would they want to submit an artwork. And all of it would get cataloged at the back end. So every time we would want to check on the user as to how the user is doing, we could go back and see. The third thing it did was, I think, we needed someone who understands tech better. So Glific support helped us put our ideas into like a technology that works for us. So doing weekly check-ins, we would bring to them either bugs that were happening in the system or the ideas that we think would really ease our work. So what kind of backend reports can be generated automatically? On WhatsApp manual, the problem is we can't generate automated reports. We don't know user engagement unless we sit down and count it. So I think that happened. And the last one is a child had a platform that they can interact with 24/7. They had their own learning journeys. They could literally like message our chatbot anytime and pick up from where they left. So I think that's something that made a child feel that they are owning what they are doing, and that was helpful in shaping the experience. This is just a couple of testimonials that some children wrote. Of course, there's a lot more to it, but I think what we are looking at going forward with Glific is to be able to understand how can we build bigger databases, how do we collate arts automatically from children. We are currently still uploading our activities on a sheet and from there copy paste to the platform, but in the times to come, I think we'll automate it. So we would be just putting our curriculum at one place, and it would automatically keep getting updated on a periodic basis. So that's the kind of help, or that's the kind of automation that will again save us a lot of like manual time. Yeah, I'm gonna pause there and take any questions if anyone has.
Hi Gaurav, I have a question. This is Krishna Priya.
Hi, Krishna Priya, tell me.
Yeah. I understand that you have been sending like messages via WhatsApp, activities via WhatsApp. So, are you encouraging the students to submit back whatever they have done, the work? And if yes, how are you actually tracking it?
So what we do is within the loop. So let's say a child messages, so they will send a hi, and then the chatbot would take over, and they would start giving them an option. What kind of activity do you want to engage in? They opt for an activity. After a few minutes, they'll get a message. Did you understand the activity? A child would respond yes or no. If they say no, you're going to resolve it either giving them a different activity or getting them to talk to the team. And then it moves on to talk. After a while, asks, you want to submit an activity. So within the flow, it's built. So if a child, let's say, who created an art that you just saw, they could say that if we want to submit an activity, it will ask what kind of activity is this. So it automatically gets tagged in the backend. Currently, since we do not have a backend, and I think Abhishek will be able to answer the tech piece of it better, because we do not have a collated backend, it doesn't go in a drive or something. But that's something that going for that. If a child sends, it automatically gets collected in a drive, but that will require a lot of investment on the storage space.
Okay.
But we are able to receive an activity from a child, save it to ourselves, put it out on social media, or use it for our record keeping purposes. But that's a functionality that does exist.
Okay, in case you want to communicate anything to the child, like any particular child, again, is it automated process or your whole system? Like, because I don't have a clear end-to-end picture right now.
No worries.
But in case, if you want, like, for example, out of 10 kids, if you want to communicate to one kid regarding something, it's again automated, or is it a manual process?
So at any point of time, you can intervene in the automated process and type out a manual message that can be sent to a child.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not a,
and even if it's one child, it's not a
even if it's one child, it's not. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much.
Abhishek, if I missed out on anything, feel free to add.
No, that you covered it. And you can also, go back and like based on the kind of questions you're receiving and the conversations are happening with the students, you can always go back and update those automated processes that you had set up. So let's say if new questions are being asked, you can just update those flows with new questions so that the system also keeps getting improved.
I just have one more question. I think it's mostly for Abhishek.
Yeah.
So you have said that it doesn't accommodate a WhatsApp group, but I guess WhatsApp business also has group, doesn't it? Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, Krishna. I mean, you cannot create groups like you can create on a regular, like how we have family, friends groups, or even with beneficiaries. So hundreds of NGOs. That's not possible with Glific or WhatsApp for Business API. The only thing you can do is, in Glific we've created like a collection of beneficiaries so that you can send a message to all of them in one go, but they can't like interact with each other. It's always a one-to-one conversation.
Got that.
Awesome. Great. Anybody else has any questions or?
Yeah, Abhishek, there's another question on the chat. Gaurav, do you want to take a look at it? Okay, you already answered. Great, thanks.
I typed it out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, Gaurav.
So if there are no other questions, I think we can move over to listening Ayush from Leap Forward about their journey and how they're doing it. Ayush, you want to take it over?
Hey, Abhishek, thank you. Abhishek, can you confirm I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. I'll share my screen.
Yes.
Abhishek, is it visible?
It's coming up for me. And it's up, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ayush, and I'm representing an NGO, a Mumbai-based NGO named as Leap Forward. I'll quickly introduce what Leap Forward does. So at Leap Forward, we're trying to solve one problem in the area of education. That is the problem that kids from regional language schools face when it comes to learning English. Just a little bit of background about how languages are learned. So languages technically can be learned when people around you speak that language. So it is very difficult to learn Tamil here in Mumbai, and similarly very difficult to learn Marathi in Tamil Nadu. So in the same context, to learn English in the rural areas of the country is a challenge because no one speaks English in those areas. So the complete onus of teaching English falls only on the government school teachers. But because he or she has had no exposure to that language, because they did not get an opportunity to communicate in English, and hence they are not fluent in English. So the problem that we are trying to solve, is it really possible to teach in English without having to speak English? So over a period of time with multiple iterations, we made a translation algorithm. It's not a technology algorithm, it's a rule-based algorithm made in an Excel, which translates Sanskrit to English and vice versa. So much like what a Google Translate does. So fundamentally, the rules we designed could translate any Indian language to English and English to any Indian language. So the course that we developed is a linear rule-based program, which is delivered in the mother tongue. So what kids learn are very specific capabilities, capabilities to read, capabilities to comprehend and structure grammatically correct sentences. The way they learn is a very structured program. We call it as an English literacy program, consisting of 4 learning levels, and each learning level consisting of 5 modules. So a complete 20-module program from alphabet, which takes a child from alphabet to a level where child can read, comprehend and frame correct grammatical sentences. And the content of each module is delivered in the mother tongue or the local language.
Just sorry to interrupt, but in case you're showing some slides, I don't think we can see your slides. So you might want to focus on that.
Just a minute. Is it not visible?
We can see your screen, your Meet screen, but
Just a minute. Just a minute. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I have covered this slide. I'll just move to next. So this is the current scale that we are working. So we are reaching out to government school teachers via both the routes, that is with mandate and without mandate. So with a top-down approach, with mandate, we went in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, where the state education department signed an official MOU for the implementation. So in Madhya Pradesh, the program is running across all government-run Hindi medium schools, and in Rajasthan, the program is implemented in 2 blocks of Alwar district. In Gujarat, the district authorities have signed an official MOU with the project sponsor, approving the implementation in one complete district. The second route is without mandate, that is, no government authorities involved. So the English, so we name it as the English Literate Maharashtra project. So English Literate Maharashtra project is a bottom-up approach where teachers who use our program and benefit from its use, they invite their fellow teachers to join us in the next academic year. So it started from a single block in 2015-16 from a Pune district, and it grew through word of mouth alone and scaled to all 358 blocks in Maharashtra in the last academic year. So broadly, the target that we are trying to reach in this academic year is 1.2 million students. Uh, so broadly talking about the overall model, how do we work? So that's a broad model. So the model consists of 3 components. That's the outreach or the distribution, the consumption, and the engagement. And the last one is the measurement of the entire program. So for us, we moved the entire distribution of the content via WhatsApp 4 years back, which was a WhatsApp group model. We started by running 2 WhatsApp group for teachers and started providing them content in a fixed schedule. Uh, the teachers in these groups were a set of very early innovators who were in search of some good content in the market. These teachers in 2 groups, approx average of 200 teachers in both the groups. These teachers explored the content and provided multiple feedbacks based on the frequency of the content, the type of the content that should be shared, and really helped us to build this complete engagement. As soon as these teachers started seeing the impact on the end consumers, for us in our case it's kids, they started inviting other teachers to come in these WhatsApp groups. Soon from 2 groups to 20 groups in a span of 6 months, with an average of 200 to 20 teachers in a group became our first milestone. We worked very closely with these set of teachers and invested a heavy time in building the entire engagement. Uh, Soon in the following academic year, so in 15-16 we were in 20 groups. In 16-17 these 20 groups translated to 200 WhatsApp groups, and as the word of mouth got spread among the teacher community, teachers started becoming the ambassador to introduce other teachers to be a part of this WhatsApp group. But going forward, the content was ready, the engagement was built, and the engagement was ready to to scale in multiple states and multiple languages. Uh, and going ahead with the WhatsApp groups would become a very heavy infrastructure model. Hence, we started exploring multiple possibilities from WhatsApp groups to different applications to Telegram. Uh, but for our audience, considering the rural people, somehow we knew that that nothing, no application or not a Telegram would work as much as the WhatsApp works for us. So and hence we switched our new state rollout to a WhatsApp enterprise model. So the WhatsApp enterprise model just solved our distribution problem at a single go. Now the resources and the complete manpower required to just manage the WhatsApp groups is not required. Uh, so currently we are running 1,200 WhatsApp groups in Maharashtra, uh, and Maharashtra operates in a WhatsApp group fashion, whereas other states, that's Madhya Pradesh, operates in a WhatsApp enterprise manner. So that's WhatsApp one-to-one. So now the first part has been taken care by the WhatsApp enterprise. The second part, which is the adoption, is being worked out. Currently, we are at working stage. So to increase the adoption amongst the community to use the WhatsApp enterprise to use the content, we have developed a portal of rewards and redemption where teachers get the teaching points and the students get the learning points. So based on the consumption of content, based on responding to different call to actions during their entire journey, teacher gets points. Based on these points, a buzz of competition is created among teachers and student community, and the entire visibility of these consumption metrics and teacher metrics is given to all the stakeholders in the system, which ultimately increases the adoption among the teachers and students. So for now, we have a different web panel for the entire rewards point, which is managed manually. But with the help of WhatsApp Enterprise, now we are at a point where we are integrating the entire rewards and redemption system or the leaderboard system in WhatsApp only. So, for example, whenever a teacher consumes X number of content, they'll get some points. Whenever teacher responds to a call to action for us, there are multiple call to actions. It could be a quiz, it could be a survey question, it could be a feedback where teacher gets points over WhatsApp only. So that's the part where we are trying to increase the adoption. And the last part is the entire measurement of what all has been achieved. So we are also trying if we could, measure the outcome over WhatsApp only. So teachers at the end of the program would assess the students via WhatsApp quizzes, so WhatsApp inbuilt quizzes, or it could be a Google form which will go via WhatsApp, or it could be just a teacher could conduct a pen and paper test and just submit the data on our enterprise platform. So we are now making a student, so we are also now making a student workflow similar to teacher workflow. So currently we have a teacher workflow in place where all the teachers can consume the content at any pace they want. And we are also building the student workflow where students could, a kid will register on the parent's phone, where students will have the access to content and assessment. So essentially trying to make a flipped classroom model where teachers would teach in the class and the kid would go home and practice everything over WhatsApp. Coming to the technology side, we are using WhatsApp Enterprise solution, which we have customized for our audience and requirements. If I talk about the WhatsApp front, and if I want to talk about the key highlights that we are using is the menu-driven WhatsApp, which is thus allowing all the teachers and students to access the content 24/7. Now the users or the teachers in our case at their own pace could use the content the way they want. We have also moved a step ahead and made provision to do all the assessments over WhatsApp only with the help of integrated quiz on WhatsApp. So a question comes and with the 4 options, the user has to reply with a appropriate answer. Teachers can now, as Abhishek told, teachers can initiate live chats and can raise tickets as well whenever they require help or whenever they want to chat with any agent or team member. The most important part is about the tracking, which Gaurav also covered in the last few minutes. Using the WhatsApp Enterprise, we can track every single thing wherever the user is, at what stage the user has consumed the content. So all the detailed individual teacher tracking is now possible over WhatsApp Enterprise. This was not available for us on WhatsApp groups. We were not able to track which teacher is actually seeing the content, asking for the content, consuming the content. So all those things were not possible. But WhatsApp Enterprise just made us use all these database decisions very effectively. So the next thing that we are working on WhatsApp is integrating rewards and ranking system where teacher and students will get rewards point basis the usage of the content, call to actions and assessments. And basis that for us, we give visibility to stakeholders by ranking all the teachers and students at state, district and school level. So as of next development, we have also initiated developing the student workflow, as I told. So all the students who have access to smartphones will in the rural audience will now be able to access the content over WhatsApp only. So the entire rewards and redemption is a different platform for now, but now it will soon be integrated into WhatsApp Enterprise within a month or so. And the last part is the content management system. So we have at a leap forward, we have made a lot of content in last few years in our last decade. So we are now bringing all the content to a central repository so that teachers at any point if the content is related from WhatsApp as well, they can just access via content management system. So all the links, all the messages that goes on WhatsApp, so all the links would be from the CMS system only. So that's from my side. So these are our next plans. Since we have achieved a scale of 1,20,000 over WhatsApp Enterprise in Madhya Pradesh, now we are moving to Rajasthan and Gujarat as a complete statewide rollout. Since the infrastructure problem, the distribution problem has been already resolved with the help of WhatsApp Enterprise. Now we are at a working stage of building the entire engagement, increasing the adoption over WhatsApp, and last would be the measurement. And as soon as these things are running, we are entering into new states to increase the distribution part. So that's it, Abhishek, from my side.
Awesome. Anybody has any questions? Great, thank
Abhishek,
you.
You're on mute.
Yeah. Thanks, Ayush. Anybody has any questions from Ayush, or should we move forward?
I have a question. Am I audible? I'm Aishwarya. I wanted to know. So I am not familiar with how WhatsApp Enterprise itself works. So does it allow for multiple, users from Leap Forward to be engaging with the teachers as well as the students? What does it look like with WhatsApp Enterprise? If you could give me an overview.
Aishwarya, so we are working at multiple states, and based on the users, based on the levels, so we have different levels in the entire program. So based on their capabilities, the user can select the program they want to enroll in, and it offers multiple languages. So whatever the language the user is, they can actually access the content.
Sorry, I meant from the Leap Forward. From the Leap Forward team, how many people?
Okay.
Yes.
So Aishwarya, we have a 15 people team who's managing the entire backend and majorly responsible for handling the live chats and tickets. So in a day, if I talk about only single state, we are getting approx 300 to 350 live chats initiated and approx 150 odd tickets that is being generated on a daily basis. So my entire team is now into servicing those teachers.
Okay. So it means that in WhatsApp Enterprises, you can have individual numbers of the Leap Forward team members who can service multiple teachers at a time. Is that right?
So Aishwarya, just for a clarification, so WhatsApp Enterprise is a platform which can service as many as users you want. So everything is coming in at a central platform. So imagine there's a backend admin panel where all the agents or the team members are sitting and just servicing the teachers.
Okay. Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Abhishek, actually, you can explain her much better in technical terms if you want.
No, I think Aishwarya wanted to sort of understand if you can onboard your team members onto Enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think since Ayush mentioned that there are 15 people already doing it, I'm guessing that it will be easy to add more team members also. And yeah, similarly on Glific also, you can add or onboard your team members and give them access control. Like if you want them to have admin role who can do a lot of automation settings, they can do that, and communicating with certain groups of a certain collection of beneficiaries. So all of that is possible to onboard them and give them a certain access level.
Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's quickly, let me share my screen again.
I have a question, I'm sorry.
Oh, right.
Is that okay? I wanted to know, Abhishek, from your experience with Glific, has there been any NGO or an organization that's combined your one-on-one communication on Glific with a group, system, like a WhatsApp group system as well? Has there been any, have you had experience with like a combination of both?
So no, I don't think that's that I have come across that kind of use case. Like at least not using the same platform. So if they're running parallelly a group on a different number and also using Glyphic to have one-on-one conversation, that could be the case. But essentially, when once you start using Glyphic, you'll have to sort of remodel your conversations to and rethink how it will happen. From a group conversation to one-on-one. But if you feel that there are some parts of conversation that that can happen only through groups, then you can definitely try that out. And yeah, but so far in my experience, yeah, I haven't.
Sure, thank you, Abhishek.
Okay. Great. So let me just share my screen again, and let's cover the last segment of Glyphic. I hope my screen is up. Okay, so whenever we like try to explain Glyphic to NGOs, I think what we really want to focus on also is that technology, or how Glyphic will add into your system is, or the technology is really the next stage, but understanding how it will fit into your organization is really the first step. That is why we promote NGOs to sort of try piloting or trying out these conversations manually, or with your personal numbers first. And when you start piloting with Glyphic, like the best way to move forward will be, if you create like a sample conversation flow. So imagine if you're talking to a beneficiary, and even in scale, how the conversation would sort of flow. Like, let's say the beneficiary starts with hello, and your NGO sends a message, and then they send a message, and then your NGO sends a message. So what is this script going to look like? And at an average, when you're thinking about talking to thousands of NGO or thousands of beneficiaries, how is this at average going to look like? Because once you have that plan ready, it will give you a really, really good start when you use systems to scale those and automate those. So you can also, before you pilot with Glyphic, you can also try out running a pilot with 20-30 beneficiaries on the ground. So observe how they're responding to you and what kind of questions they ask. And if you already have that kind of experience, then just maybe create a document of what that conversation will look like, and it will really help you move forward with Glyphic or any other technology solutions. So solving the process problem is the first step. So for example, like I mentioned, what do you want the chatbot to handle? What conversations are repetitive that you don't need to come in from time to time, and chatbot can handle or system can handle? And what are their common queries that you'd like to address from the platform? And if you have created this communication plan and document, you can share it with us. We can help you think about how we can set it up with Glyphic and how you can run it. Let me quickly also cover some of the latest features that we are releasing in in the latest version, which is analytics. So you can get a report, you can customize reports, and you can get data points based on, let's say, what are the new users who are coming into the platform, what is the count of daily active users, what are the messages that are being engaged. And as we are building it with NGOs, we're getting some of the tailored reports that Slam Out Loud or ILP or other NGOs need for their specific purpose. And you can get all kinds of data from the system based on the reporting that you want to generate. This is what we are building these days, and will be rolling out very soon. Another great feature, like Gaurav mentioned lightly, was using sheets. So you can set up automated flows, but what happens is that right now you had to create add messages manually whichever you wanted to send every on the daily basis, but now we are integrating Google Sheets into the workflow so that the content that you want to basically spread will be picked up from the Google Sheets directly, and it makes the process much simpler and faster. We have also recently built a simulator to test out automated conversation flows. So, for example, you have created a plan, you've set it up in the system, but you want to really see how it is being experienced by the beneficiaries. And for that, you can easily test out before rolling it out. I can just quickly show you how it works as well. So, let's say you have set a conversation flow, and so this mobile basically imitates what the beneficiary will be experiencing, and this is the Glific platform where you will be sending the messages. So if a beneficiary sort of says hi, they get this automated message because they were already in a flow. They got okay, what activity do you want to try out, and this is essentially the flow that Slam Out Loud uses, and we've been testing it out with that. So let's say imagine beneficiary sends 1. Okay. So let's try out sending a flow. Oh, I got timed out. So let me quickly log in and show it to you. Yeah, so if the beneficiary selected 1, you had set out a flow for this message to go in. So that message went, and then again they said, okay, yeah, I like this activity. And then the automated message goes out. So you can test it out before actually, talking to the actual users. And this will be the list of all the conversations, happening with your real-time users. So that's how simulator works.
Abhishek, can I ask a question for you?
Sure.
How precise does the response sort of need to be? Is it tagged to words, or does it have to be a numeric input from the user to know what part of the flow to continue? Sort of how precise do you need to be there?
Okay, so it will happen through a mix of these. Now, if you want to set automated conversations, I think you will really need to set it up with numeric values, because you want to make it very, very straightforward and simple for them to sort of respond. Because if it is subjective, then actually we are also building subjective automated responsive through Dialogflow. But if you want to set out automated messages, then it turns out that it's easier and simpler for users to engage if they just have to enter, let's say, 1 for this and 2 for that and 3 for that, 9 for help and things like that. So it's a really simple menu system that they can use to run the conversations. But a lot of times also beneficiaries want to ask questions that are beyond the flows that you have already set up. So in those cases, you can just jump in and let's say beneficiary says, what's the new activity today? And you don't have any message set out for that. Right now it will just repeat the message because this is what has set up. But then you can also jump in here and send a custom response however you want. And that's how it works.
And this response that it's sent right now, was it because of some words, or was it that it's one response that where if you don't recognize a numeric input, this is the response to send? Or is it picking any keywords from the user's response at all?
A great question. So it's happening in both ways. We've set it up for both. So I'll just quickly show you how the flows are, happening. So it is happening based on the keywords as well. So let's say if beneficiaries ask for help and that is set up through ML and AI application that we've plugged in, which is Dialogflow. But here it is happening through numeric value. I'll just.
So the option, though, I think my question is more that the option to have some level of sort of keywords and machine learning involved within Glific exists.
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
Level of keyword tagging.
Yeah.
To direct the flow exists. That functionality exists in Glific. You don't have to purely be numeric responses.
Right. Correct.
Oh, thanks. That answers my question.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, that's how these are some of the features that we are up to, and I guess we are also running out of time now. It's 11. So we'll be happy to hear from you if you want to pilot, or if you have any questions on using WhatsApp, on Glyphic, or any other information you came across in the webinar. You can just reach out to us, mail us, message us. Lubo, do we have a last minute question, or are we out of time?
Means we're out of time, but if people have any questions, we can stick around and answer them.
Okay. Great. So I think apart from that, we these are the details that we wanted to cover in the webinar, and yeah, we'll be back with more stuff, more features, more insights on using WhatsApp, on communication flows again next month. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen and leave it open for people to ask questions, or if any. Otherwise, bye-bye everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thanks, Nimesh.
Thank you, Abhishek.
All right, Rachna. Glad you were here. Yeah.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thanks, Sarika. Bye. Happy to have you here.